This kitty cat knows where it's at.
Knows where it's at.
Well, little lady, let me elucidate here.
Hey guys, it's Lee. Welcome back to my channel. So another month, another bullet journaling video to start. So this is actually the last month of this book, which is honestly good because I was going through my drawer when I was trying to figure out what theme I was going to do this month, and I was really running out of like pink items, stickers to revolve a theme around, so I'm glad that it's the last month and I don't have to do that again. So this month it's gonna be a cat/gold theme, if that makes sense. I also decided to keep it simple, so like even more simple than last month, surprisingly. So it's very scrapbooky and very easy to replicate if you have a lot of stickers that are similar to this, so I hope you guys enjoy, and let's just get right into it. Alrighty, so starting off, I wanted to get a little bit more adventurous with this month since it is the last one and I can get away with being all bulky and scrapbooky. So I actually got these two cards when I was in London a few years ago, and I thought they were so cool and pretty looking that I was like, no, I don't want to give these away to anybody. I'm just going to buy them and I will make use of them in some way. 4 years later, we are in September. And the moment I saw them in my drawer when I was kind of figuring out what theme I wanted to do this month, I thought of the Aristocats, and I actually did a poll on my Instagram. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, to decide like which of these cards I was going to use. And it was actually really narrow. Like this card that I ended up picking only won by 2 votes. And I think there was over like 20 something people that voted overall. So clearly there was a divide, just like in my brain was. So I decided ultimately, okay, yeah, let's go with this one. And this card came with this envelope, and I thought the gold looked really nice with a backdrop of it, especially beginning to use the papers that I actually used for my last September's setup. That was very scrapbook fall themed, but I thought the colors still worked really well with the cards that I'm basing this theme around. So I really just used that. And for gluing everything down, I did use Fabri-Tac. I find that using Fabri-Tac is the best for any kind of scrapbooking stuff, especially if your papers tend to be a little bit thicker. Because I find that like regular glue stick, it just comes off over time, and my Fabri-Tac really holds on to anything. So after distressing the edge of the card a little bit, I decided to add some distressed ink. So first up, Wild Honey. It's not exactly the orange that's with the rest of these colors, but I feel like it still worked, and bringing out some more of the pinks from this, because this theme was really overwhelmingly goldish, so I tried to use more colors that could bring out like the small minute colors, so it wouldn't be so overwhelmingly orange, despite it, obviously being a fall theme. So just continue to just rip scraps up. Like, it's kind of hard for me to explain exactly my thought process with doing scrapbooky themes. I kind of just like rip and tear and just kind of play around with the positioning and kind of just figure out what is best. It's kind of hard to teach that. But if you do decide to try out a theme like this, really give yourself time to play. I'm pretty sure I've given that tip in a couple of my card videos, but it never really changes, honestly. Like, this is just so easy to just play around with. A lot different of a mindset than regular drawing, and a lot more laid back. I mean, this did take me a good couple of hours, but I like to give myself time to do my cover pages, like, and not feel rushed, because it is supposed to be fun and relaxing, and when you're just doodling and just ripping up paper, it is so chill. So I really suggest giving yourself like a whole day just to play around if you decide to do something like this and refurbish a card in any way. And continuing on the opposite side, I focused this just to be like a September section. I saw a picture on Pinterest that kind of did a similar thing with their scrapbook cover page, and I really like how it looked. Mine still looks like quite different just because I had different elements to use and not quite as big of photos to show around, but I did my main center just to be like on the word September, and sketched it in the exotic I think it's called Exotic Necklace. Whatever the font I link below, I used that type of font for the entirety of the spread. It felt very fancy and proper and French-like, so that was kind of like my thought process while doing this. I was like, okay, think Aristocats, but still make it around this art style of these two cards. But that's really all I have to say for the scrapbooky things, because like I said, hard to fill this up with how-tos, because it's really just playing around and experimenting with where you want the papers. And always using distressing to bring out some other colors. Don't ever forget that. But yeah, I will stop talking and just play a fun little Aristocats Everybody Wants to Be a Cat remix from SoundCloud. We love non-copyrighted SoundCloud music.
Let's drop in on some really swinging cats.
I ended up hating this drawing of the flower. It just looked way too janky for my liking, so I was like, okay, we're gonna camouflage it with some paper. Alright, so there is the completed cover page. So moving on to the next page, it's always my schedule page. So this one I did want to keep a little bit simpler, but I decided to use this second card as inspo for the design for the schedule page. So after squaring out all the boxes, which by the way, I really suggest sketching this if you ever try to do individual boxes, because I screwed up, and that is why the first box of September has the word September into it, because after I realized that I had messed up the boxes, I had already written the word September, and that calligraphy took me a little bit longer than I'd like to admit to sketch, and I really didn't want to have to erase it. So I was like, okay, well, it's fine. I only have one obligation on the 1st of September. It's fine. I'll just like write around the word when I fill this out later. So yeah, definitely sketch the boxes before you do anything else of the design on your cover, on your schedule pages. So on the inspiration page that I used for this, it looked like they just made the highlighting color accent in the background of their words, kind of like a shadow. So I just rewrote over the word September with the color that I mainly wanted it to attract. So I tried to pick out of my Tombos what color matched the best with this card. I know it still is a bit bright compared to the card, but it is the closest I had, and I really didn't want to have to go out of my way to buy more shades of Tombos. I really have too many already. I need to stop spending money. But definitely one of my other resolutions for this coming year. And I know it might have been a bit hard to see when I showed the picture of the card, but there was very small, faint accents of blue bubbles around the piano area. So that's why I used this super, super, super light version of the blue to bring out that accent. So I doodled a bunch of other musical notes. Typically I usually just do like the standard like 2-prong and then the 1-prong next to it, but I looked at the card and detailed some more of like fancier looking music notes, and even though the page was still like very, very empty, I felt like it was too plain, and I didn't really like how all of the markers of the Tombos that I just did this quick sketch of, I didn't like how it looked in some corners, so I thought I had some extra of that envelope from the cover page, and so I just brought in some more scrap papers just to play around with that blank spot up there too. Alright, so this bottom corner, I thought it would look really pretty if I drew another cat in the same art style as the cards. But man, I cannot draw cats. That is like the one thing that I still haven't been able to even remotely do okay, and after a couple of tries of trying to do this eye, it just was not happening, man, so I promptly gave up. So instead, I put another quote. Not in completely revolutionary, but kind of like the quote that I put at the very cover page since the very end of my bullet journaling year. I wanted to have like mini reminders to, do the things that actually bring me joy, not just constantly work and feel like a well-oiled machine, because I am not a well-oiled machine. I am a clunky, rusty machine that is still trying to get its footing. But I felt like I've been pretty stagnant the past few months, just sitting at my computer trying to get stuff done, even though it feels like I'm getting nothing done, but I'm always working, so it's very confusing to myself. So I'm really trying to remind myself to actually like get out a bit more, especially now that things are opening. So that an explore quote was fitting. Yeah, that was a bit of a long rant to explain why I decided to pick one sticker, but we're rolling with it. It's fine. Moving on to the checklist. So this one I got a little bit more creative. So a while ago when I did buy all of these colors from last September's shoot, I actually saw this extra embellishment kit from 49 Market of these frames. And obviously they would typically be used in like an actual scrapbook form and just put like slap a picture in there. But I thought it'd be kind of a cool idea, since I only had like giant ones left, to put them on each page and then write... Oh, dang it, I forgot to turn my phone off, sorry. I thought it'd be cool to put them right in the middle of the page and then write the checklist inside the frame. I was getting kind of bored with how I was making my checklist pages, because it's really just a bunch of stickers and washi tapes lately, so I thought this was a cool way to add something extra. But if you do decide to do stuff like this, I really suggest making sure that you do it closer to the end of your year, because the main reason I haven't been doing stuff like this until now is because even though these pages are quite thick, sometimes when you use embellishments it can get kind of bumpy, and it can mess up your writing if you're like writing on a certain part of the page that you didn't realize you have a bump like a few pages underneath of it. So at least if it's at the end of your book, you're not going to have that problem for the most part. So for the heading design, I still pulled away from the piano card. I really like the music notes that were going around there and making it look like it was just like sing-songy kind of thing, and added some more of those black cat stickers. And I'm not gonna lie, I ended up using probably too much of the sticker sheet. My goal is to use up all of my stickers whenever I like pick a theme based on a sticker sheet. However, I thought I was gonna have enough left over to like cross over to the rest of my weekly spread throughout the month, and no, I definitely used them all for this setup, so it's a good thing I have different stickers of just plain black cats. They're just not like the same design. So, moving on to my habit tracker. So, another quick flip, and ta-da! I tried something a little bit new, and ditched the mood tracker this month. I kind of just was feeling like I didn't really need it or had the patience to draw one out. And I mean, I was thinking about doing like originally musical notes for my mood tracker just to keep with it, but I just couldn't bring myself to actually do it when it came time to filming, and I don't really feel like I need the mood tracker as much right now. So we'll see if I bring it back for October, if I can think of a really cool idea, because I already know my theme for October. But I thought for this last month, it's fine to ditch it, and I wanted to use this other card on a page that I would constantly be looking at throughout the month. Because if I used it on a weekly spread, you'd really only be looking at it for just those 7 days. Like, this is such a pretty card that I really wanted to see it throughout the entire month, and I reference my habit tracker the most throughout the month, every single month, so I thought it was a good fit. So as for some finishing touches, I added some more mini doodles for the habit tracker and a bit more of that light blue. And now we are done. Alright, so moving on to our very last spread of this month. It is the weekly spread once again, and this time I went more full out with my design for the first one, since I really should be doing that anyway since it's for the video. Make it more extravagant. So this one was a combination of two spreads that I found on Pinterest. One of them was one that I actually used for my August. It was like the third weekly spread of the month, if you want to check it out on my Instagram. And then the left side of this page was from an entirely different spread on Pinterest that I haven't tried. I was originally going to just use that one spread as inspo and just do these scrolls for all 5 days. However, I couldn't draw the scroll small enough and narrow enough to fit the rest of them, so I was like, yeah, you know what, screw it, it's just going to be on the left side, and then I will just combine 2 pages. It's fine. I still think it looks cool. And it took a lot less time to do. I didn't want to make it too artsy because I was really on a time crunch for this video. But the box on the left I made so that I could put whatever things I have, like appointment-wise and work schedule-wise on that thing, so I could keep the actual boxes of the days of the week, like the giant ones on the page, just for to-do list-based things. I'm trying to transfer more over to that type of style of weekly spread and see if that works out better for me. Because I'm kind of flip-flopping between that and just using a weekly spread of just doing the 7 days of the week and putting my events in the same section as the to-do list, but sometimes I confuse myself, so I really should probably just stick to one time. Like, what kind do you guys tend to use? Like, what's your favorite kind of weekly spread? Let me know in the comments. So for this page I decided to use my Micron pen instead of my just like regular Sharpie black pen that I use. This one gave a lot finer of a look, and with this kind of calligraphy and fine tuning, like, I think it just looks much better when the ink is that much thinner. Also, my thought with the scrolls were like kind of thinking like an old school music sheet, like to play off of. I don't know if I like made that obvious enough without having to actually say it, but that was my thought process with picking those. Yeah, again, I don't really have much too else to say. I just kind of like doodle around with it and added some random washi tape, and that was about it. So I'll just let you guys enjoy some more fun French music. Also, I decided to add another quote that says relax. I keep getting told by my friends and family that I really need to relax more because my face can't take it anymore. It turns out the more I get stressed, the more my hormonal acne decides to flare up and get angry, and then it just like completely gets rid of my microdermabrasion treatments, so I really gotta learn how to chill out. So for a finishing touch, I wanted to bring out some more of the pink, so that's why I brought out the Worn Lipstick color again from Tim Holtz. And that, my friends, is another bullet journal setup completely done. Alright guys, so here is my final September 2021 bullet journal setup. I love the aristocratic theme that it ended up turning into. Very kind of like opposite Disney, but I don't know, that's just what it made me think of since of all the musical notes and cats. But really like this. I think it's a good end to my 3rd year of bullet journaling. Alright, so that was my September 2021 bullet journal setup. I hope you guys enjoyed it and liked the slightly different approach that I took to this theme. Very, very easy to do, very, very quick. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I think I said that already. Holy crap, this humidity is getting to me. I literally have my fan on behind me because I'm just dying of heat right now. Like, I know this like long sleeve, but this is actually like very thin and flowy, so it's okay, and I'm not too much dying, but maybe being in black wasn't the best. dumbest idea. But anyway, I digress. And I will see you guys next Scrappy Wednesday. I don't really know what I have. Yeah, next Scrappy Wednesday, because that's when I have to do my new bullet journal book setup. So I will see you guys then. Bye.